that AB 32 is causing jobs to leave California. And I'm all about the economy and jobs. So you take it away from the global warming, it disarms them. So that's just something you can say. But I did, because we were at the A Sustainability, I did want to bring it up. Even their own people are saying AB 32 doesn't have any effect on global warming. David Crane said it will have absolutely no effect. He's the governor's business director. AB 32 was intended to reduce greenhouse gas emissions associated with global warming. CARB, California Air Resource Board, it's that bureaucracy that actually mandates AB 32. They have conceded that California acting alone cannot reverse the course of worldwide global warming. So think about this. Oh, therefore, suspending it should have no effect on global. If AB 32 can't reverse it, then suspending AB 32 is not going to have any effect on it either. And that's when I said that his sustainability club, that's when they all just about wanted to stone me. But think about this. If climate were static and we had a big tent over California and we could just regulate our own air, then maybe we could do something. Maybe. Just maybe. But climate is dynamic. You see, with the jet stream brings pollution over from China. It is dynamic. And 95, well, I don't know, they disagreed with me on this, but I said 95% of the CO2 in the atmosphere comes from the Earth itself. And only 5% of the CO2 in the atmosphere, and it's a little bit parts per million in the first place. So only 5% of that little bit of CO2 that's in the atmosphere is anything that worldwide that humans can even maybe touch. And out of that, how are Californians going to affect that? You know, it doesn't make any sense. The question is then, how much are we willing to spend on a global warming law that does nothing to alleviate global warming? Who supports 23 and why? I just met this one head on because they'll talk about, their website is called dirtyenergy.org. That's the website of No on 23. They'll talk about Valero and Tesoro. They're oil companies, and they will talk about them like they're the biggest, evilest things on the planet. And they talk about Texas oil companies. Well, yes, they are based in Texas, but they have many businesses here in California, and they actually hire and give jobs to thousands of Californians. Thousands of Californians, if those oil companies leave their businesses, those are thousands of jobs that we won't have if they leave California. They produce cheap energy, and one of the things I always ask the students is, are you going home for Thanksgiving? Do you live in Chico? No, well, you live in Southern California, you live in the Bay Area. Are you going to walk? Are you going to ride your bike? Well, no, you're either going to fly or you're going to drive a car. Maybe you'll take the bus or the train. And anyway, you're going to use oil. You're going to use some oil. We need oil until we're completely independent of it. We need it. Try walking down to San Diego. Have fun. You know. So anyway, it produces cheap energy, and Valero is fairly cheap gas, and it employs Californians, and they pay the highest taxes in California. Guess what? And I tell the students this too. Guess where their tax money's going? It's going into California's economy, into the pot. And guess where some of that is going? Into the university. So you're always crying about not enough money for the universities, but you want to drive these companies out of California so we don't have the tax revenues for the universities? So I said, this is what I tell students. So if you're talking to a student, you can use these things. Also, they abide by they have to abide by California's pollution standards. Now, they did tell me they were cited or something for some problems they had. I don't know what that is, but they do have to abide by California's air pollution standards in order to do business in California. So AB 32, by the way, is only about CO2 emissions anyway, and not air pollution. So they'll talk about the dirty energy companies and the air pollution, but that's not what AB 32 is about. It's about CO2. Next. Here are some other supporters of Prop 23. It's not just the big oil companies. And this is only a partial list. And if you'll notice, I'm not going to read through all of them, but many of them are small business associations and small businesses and Chamber of Commerce, and it's a very diverse group. And I said, well, why do these people support Prop 23? It is because most of the small businesses are owned by the middle class. Most of the small businesses employ the middle class. It's the middle class, that's you and me, guys, that are going to be so negatively affected by AB 32 if Prop 23 doesn't pass. And the Butte County Farm Bureau. I think they're on here. This is just a partial list. I can only fit so many in a slide. So the bottom line is AB 32, which Prop 23 will suspend, increases energy costs in California by 60%, will drive at least 1 million jobs out of California, create a burden on taxpayers, and have no effect on global warming. So the conclusion is you don't have to be a math genius to know that AB 32's numbers just don't add up to the positive. You take a struggling business, you add increased energy costs, a struggling business environment, you add increased energy costs, you subtract jobs, and you get declining tax revenues, declining job growth, and higher unemployment. And without Prop 23, jobs of any kind will be hard to find. And that's not good news, and I tell this to the students. I say, when you get out, when you graduate, that's not good news for you. And it's not good news for your parents who spent a lot of money to put you through 4 years of college to get out and work at McDonald's or something. Or Walmart or whatever. But that's what I tell the students. So I always end with yes on 23 just makes common sense. These are my sources. So there were many other sources, but these are the ones I tried to find some of the best ones. Because when you go on the internet, they always have links to other ones, and you're like, but these are some of the best sources that I found. And so I can give my PowerPoint to someone, or they can put, I think John is going to put it on the website.
Oh, good. Great job.
And I would like to open it up to questions. Here.
I've heard this argument time about AB 32 deals with greenhouse gas emissions, which is CO2, right? And not air pollution. What exactly are greenhouse gas emissions?
Okay, the question is, she has heard many times that AB 32 deals with greenhouse gas emissions and not air pollution. And what exactly are greenhouse gas emissions? The biggest greenhouse gas is CO2, but there's also methane, nitrous oxide. There may be one more. Is there any chemist in here who knows the other one? I know nitrous oxide, methane, and CO2 are the three biggest ones that are the greenhouse gases. And they say, I'm not Anthony would know this, but they say that these are the gases that trap the heat of the sun and keep it down, close to the earth, so that the earth's atmosphere and climate heats up, and then we have global warming and climate change and all that.
The original 32 CARB law was to reduce particulate matter. That's why the Farm Bureau is looking at that. The basics of Prop 32 is to have all the engines either retrofitted or replaced, and that's what's going to drive all the business, most businesses out of California, because they can't afford only the largest ones like Swift that renew their engines every 2 years or so. But small companies would have to retrofit or replace engines, and just simply won't be able to do that. But that's basically it's particulate matter in the diesel engine, but basics of this.
Okay, what he's talking about is the basis for 32 is the particulate matter in the diesel engines. And that's why it's going to cost so much, because all these the exhaust has to be retrofitted. The thing is that everything I read about AB 32, and I read the bill, it's like 30 pages and all this legalese and stuff, and then I read a bunch of other stuff about it, and it all talks about greenhouse gas. Particulate matter is not greenhouse gas, so I don't understand. It said it does not deal with particulate matter. So is there a crossover?
That's what they're requiring. As a matter of fact, my brother-in-law has an apiary, and he's been required to retrofit all of his vehicles, his diesel vehicles, so he just ended up going out and buying brand new ones. We have a friend who had a pavement business. He just up and moved Okay, we had a friend who was in the pavement business, and he actually up and moved to Oregon because he couldn't afford to retrofit all of his big earth movers. So it is part of AB 32. It's actually currently in effect, and it has had a tremendous effect. While I have the microphone, I do want to make another important announcement that's directly related to Prop 23. For those of you who don't know, every week we as a group, I now participate in the California Tea Party Patriots conference call. On Saturday, I received an emergency email saying we have to have an emergency conference call on Sunday, and it had to do with Prop 23. On this conference call was a gentleman by the name of Eric Eisenhammer. He is the person who is the lead in the campaign on Yes on 23. The reason why he was contacting us and why we called this emergency conference call is because Prop 23 is getting beat very badly. And the reason why is because two very famous individuals donated a very large amount of money. First, Bill Gates, who does not even live in this state, donated $750,000 to the No on Prop 23 campaign. And then James Cameron, Mr. Avatar. I don't know if you were able to stomach the movie, but I sat through pretending that the Tea Party were the good people. I mean, anyway, that's beside the point. I hated the movie. It was insulting. But anyway, James Cameron is a big global warming advocate. He donated $1 million.
Oh my God.
We have been inundated with No on 23 commercials. Now, if you notice the content of these commercials, they talk about the big bad, big oil. An interesting fact was brought up on this conference call. The statement was this: well, if big bad, big oil is behind the Yes on Prop 23 campaign, don't they have all those millions, if not millions of dollars? Why aren't we seeing Yes on Prop 23 commercials on TV? It's just common sense. What Sue Hubbard has presented here tonight is absolute truth. With that being said, the reason why Eric was calling upon our resources is that we have to really truly attack this at the grassroots level. So what they're asking is this: they're asking that we make sure that we send out an email to all of you. We realize that we have almost 400 people on our email list. The average open rate is between 75 and 90. If you're one of those who doesn't open up our emails, we ask that this email, you go back and retrieve it from your delete file, bring it up, and please forward it to at least 3 of your friends. We've got to get the word out. The next thing is, if you know any bloggers, please send the information on to the bloggers as well. And we basically copied and pasted the information that we got from our California main organization. We also ask that if you have time, that you would go to a particular website. Actually, it's cited number 7. It's called suspendab32.org. There's other additional links. We actually provide the link in the email. If you want to just volunteer to sit in the comfort of your home, you can even sit in a recliner and make phone calls encouraging people to vote yes on yes on Prop 23. I almost misspoke. Please do that. You can really make a difference. We've got to get the word out. They're depending on us, and right now we're losing folks, and we've got to really do a last-minute push. Okay? Thank you.
Well, and another reason it's losing is every single campus, I believe, I know Chico State is happening, and probably every other campus around the state. You would not believe the number of No on 23 people are out there. They have these big sustainability clubs, and they're out there getting petitions on people. People are signing their petition to pledge to vote no on 23. I mean, and there's so much disinformation out there. It is unbelievable, the amount of disinformation. And another thing, oh yeah, we have bumper stickers. The headquarters has, you could even make your own, but headquarters does have Yes on 23 bumper stickers. Oh, Skip has them right there.